Okay, next up, iSCSI target. Anyone ever used the iSCSI target in the past in Windows or a Windows storage server? Couple of nods, yeah. Handy. Basically, the idea is we can take a server that has a bunch of disk in it and turn it into an iSCSI storage platform. So it's not the same as having a nice P4000 or an Equalogic with iSCSI SAN controllers and all that sort of stuff with lots of fault tolerance built all over the place. But it gives you a cheap, scalable way of providing storage with iSCSI communication path. We had it in Windows Storage Server in the past. It was a free add-on for Windows Server 2008 or 2. You could download the version 3.3 iSCSI target for that. And I have a white paper on my blog. It tells you how to configure it and even build a Hyper-V cluster using 2008 or 2. Now it's built into Windows Server 2012. So it's a checkbox away if you want to use it. Why would you want to use it? Well, we'll come to that in a second. It's basically a single server by default, which doesn't give you any levels of high availability. So that server goes offline, your iSCSI and your storage goes offline. What you can do is you can cluster this particular service in Windows Server 2012 now. So you can have some sort of shared storage on the back end. It could actually be a JBOD running storage spaces. Or it could be whatever else, fiber channel storage on the back end, but you need to provide an iSCSI gateway. You can use Windows Server 2012 to do that. Because it's an active, if your iSCSI target moves from one host to another, there is an outage. So there will be communication interference there. It still uses VHD files, it does VHDX. But what's interesting about it is the VHD files in iSCSI target actually scale out to not 2 terabytes, but 16 terabytes. Can't get into that. But they scale out more than the VHDs you use in Hyper-V. Or would have used in Hyper-V. Now you can use those VHDXs. Why haven't they used VHDX? They could have used VHDX. This is running on Server 2012. Makes you wonder, how important is iSCSI? Talk more about that later. So, demo. Back into that same machine I did the storage spaces stuff on. And where am I? 250. And this is it. So I'm on that machine there. And I've enabled the role. It's under file services. There's a role service called iSCSI. I've checked the box and it's installed. Rather than you sitting watching their progress bar sitting there for a minute, just done it. And in fact, I'm not going to do it on this one. See in my pants stuff again. I'm actually going to do it on a different machine. 43. So I've actually got one already configured. Ignore it. I'm actually going to create another one that I'm going to use in a little while. And that LUN that you see there is actually running some of my virtual machines that you've seen running on Hyper-V so far. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new target, new virtual disks to share out using iSCSI. So I'm going to say task, new iSCSI virtual disk. So this is going to create a virtual disk on the storage on this server and present it to certain machines via iSCSI. Similar to what you would do in a SAN. So there, and where do I want to create it? I'm going to create it on my D drive. Next. I'm going to call it demo backslash SOFS1 backslash witness. Next. I'm going to make it 1 gig in size. Next. And now I need to allocate it. I need to permit that volume to be connected to by some other hosts. So what we do is we allocate this new disk to target. One there doesn't exist. I'm going to say a new iSCSI target. Next. And I'm going to call this demo SOFS1. That's the name of the machine or machines that are going to connect to this target. This is my general name for the service. And now I need to permit specific machines to connect to this target. If they connect to this target, then they will get access to the disks that I've connected to the target. And what I can do here is, if I know the IQN of my iSCSI initiators, I can copy and paste it in there. If everything here that I'm dealing with, so my iSCSI server and my iSCSI initiators are all members of my domain, I can type in their computer name and it'll actually give me back the IQN name that will be used by those servers. I happen to know that it's this machine and this machine. So I can select one of them and then add, and I'll add the other one. Okay. Next. I could do my CHAP stuff for security for the iSCSI communications. It's a demo lab. I'm not concerned too much about that. And create. And now it's creating a virtual hard disk and presenting it or sharing it to those two machines to connect to. Then I would have to log into those two machines and do the iSCSI stuff from their end to connect to this target so they can connect to these disks, which I'm going to do in a couple of minutes. What I want to do first is I want to create another disk, which I'm going to be using in a little while. And again, it's going to be on my D drive. Next, demo sofs1 /csv1. Next, I'm going to make it 150 gigs in size, and I'm going to say it's connected to that target I just created. So those two machines will get access to this new disk. Create. So once the target's created, the hard work kind of done. It's just create virtual hard disks and allocate them to the target. So there we go. There's the two disks. And scroll down. And there's my iSCSI target that's connected to them. And anything that connects to this target, so basically the IP address of this server, will get access to those disks. So what I am going to do at this point is go on to file server 1, start, iSCSI. I hear so much hate about the new UI. See how quickly I got to my iSCSI initiator without browsing through control panel or anything like that. I typed iSCSI. I didn't have to do any control Qs or any charm stuff. I just typed. Hit the Windows key, typed. Pressed enter, there it was. Okay. 10 dot not dot 1.43, quick connect, and there's my target there that I want to connect to. So that's the one I just created. Done. Go to volumes and devices. Oh, configure. And they're not there. Why are they not there? Yeah. Why didn't it not connect? Huh. I've done this so many times in the last year, and this has never happened. How strange. Is the volume you took off now? Sorry? Is the VHD removed? No. Isn't that interesting? Let me do that from the other server, see how it reacts. I bet my VMs have all failed at this point. Oh. Never do live demos. Record your demos. Like Dave does. Cheat.
Yeah, but cheating works. We all know that. Thank
you. Okay. There we go. Nope. Start iSCSI. And do my George Bush impersonation. Okay. That should mean my mistake. I didn't click on connect. I hit the done button when I should have hit connect. Stupid, yeah. Fault lies between wall and machine. Oh boy. I hope nobody in Redmond sees this. Oh, they will. They watch everything I do. So now, if I open up disk management, I should see 2 new volumes in here. You'll see a 1 gig volume and a 150 gig volume. So I'm going to do my online stuff, online, initialize disk. I'm going to pick GPT for scalability, because MBT is actually limited in scalability. And so I'm going to new simple volume, next, next. I'm not going to give that a drive letter, because it's going to be a cluster volume. I don't want to give them drive letters. Next, I'm going to call that demo SOFS1 witness. My practice when I'm creating disks in my storage, creating volumes, adding volumes into clusters, whatever, is I keep the same name all the way through. So no matter where I see it, I know exactly what it is. So in 2 years' time, when I come to decommission a volume, I don't bring down the application server that runs the business. I know exactly what's what. So it's self-documenting. Finish, and do the same here. New simple volume, next, next, do not, next, and demo SOFS, OFS1, CSV1. How are we doing for time, Dave?
Fine.
Excellent. Loads of time. Okay, so now I have got 2 volumes there that are active on one node and should be, if I go to this node, because connected to the same volumes, disk management, J should appear as inactive because the other node or the other server is using them. And there they are, showing as inactive, because we have shared nothing when it comes to storage in Windows world. Only one server can own a volume. We'll get around that in a second. So that's the iSCSI stuff. Simple enough. Okay, why would I want to do this? Well, iSCSI target, as it turns out, is great for labs. I can't afford a SAN in our demo environment, so I use the iSCSI target. It's fantastic for skills development, so if you need to do certification, learn how to build a Hyper-V cluster or SQL cluster or something like that, fire up an iSCSI target. You don't need a 10 grand or a 50 grand SAN to fire up iSCSI storage for clustering. Tech and development, again, if they want to build applications that are using iSCSI, here's a cheap way of doing it. If you want to provision big, scalable, cheap storage to lots of machines, fire up iSCSI. It's another platform you can use. For consultants, it's fantastic to be able to fire up a piece of storage that does the sort of things that a customer might expect on their SAN. I love it. One of the nice things is the system, the VMM storage folks, it's an SMIS provider for Windows Server 2012 iSCSI target. Basically allows Virtual Machine Manager to reach into the iSCSI target and do everything I just did. So I can actually edit the properties of a cluster in VMM, a Hyper-V cluster, and provision new cluster storage to that cluster without touching my storage. I do it all from the VMM console. Very, very nice, and speeds up the process like you wouldn't believe. Probably take half as long as what I just did there